When I spoke in front of the Tom Lantos Human Rights Commission in March of this year, I had anticipated that I would battle the Iranian government for my husband's freedom. I never anticipated that I would also have to battle my own government. My husband is suffering because he's a Christian. He's suffering because he's an American. Yet his own government did not fight for him when his captors were across the table from them. It's been hard. It's been a struggle as a mom watching as my 7-year-old and my 5-year-old cry themselves to sleep every single night for the last 444 days. And knowing that unless we get Saeed out quickly, he might serve the 8 years or even more, or he might not even survive that prison sentence.
Now, when the U.S. has historically communicated with, sits across from the table, the Iranian government, the U.S. government has still failed to secure the release of Pastor Saeed and the other Americans in prison. As Naghmeh pointed out, this Congress has spoken with strength and unity on behalf of Pastor Saeed, and we are grateful that President Obama expressed his concern about the Americans imprisoned in Iran on his historic phone call with Iranian President Hassan Rouhani back in September. Yet, 2 days ago, Secretary of State Kerry sat at this table, and to you, Chairman Smith, he said that this matter is a priority for him. But numerous statements from his department claim that Saeed was either not brought up or only discussed on the margins. For us, you can understand the incompetence. Was he brought up? Was he on the margins? On the margins is bad enough. Not at all is even worse.
I didn't come here to, I didn't come to this hearing this morning to apologize or come to the defense of the administration. But I would respectfully suggest that as we address these human rights issues, the best way for us to address them, starting with your husband and his release, is to work in a unified fashion to do it. And I don't believe, Mr. Sekulow, that it's helpful for us in this hearing for the hearing to turn on allegations of incompetence and ineptitude by the administration.
The incompetence has not been at the level of Republicans and Democrats in Congress. It's been at a bureaucratic level. And it's clear because on television, members of the administration at the White House, the National Security Council says one thing happens in the negotiation. The Deputy National Security Advisor says something else happens. Secretary Kerry then says something else. And I would add for the Congressman, with all due respect, I know he represents as a constituent Robert Levinson. 7 years missing? I don't want to be here 6 years from now. I'd say that's incompetent, especially when we have an opportunity.
You know what, Mr. Sekulow, excuse me. First of all, to bring discredit on the men and women who have spent the past 7 years trying to bring Bob Levinson home, to advance some agenda, unknown agenda that I can't fathom, when we're all trying to work together to focus on human rights and to bring Pastor Abedini home, it's not right.
Congressman, things have significantly changed. And as you're walking out, in the last month, we are now in negotiations with Iran. That didn't happen 6 years ago. So whatever efforts you're talking about before, it was different. But in the last 6 weeks, we have a new relationship with Iran. We can't think about Iran as, oh, and we still hear this from the State Department, we have no diplomatic ties. Well, depending on how you define that, when you're sitting down at the table regularly, I think that the whole situation is fundamentally changed. So to accept what was previously done as satisfactory is no longer satisfactory. That's what I'm saying.
Mr. Sekulow, since my time has expired and you've claimed some of the time that I no longer had, I would simply tell you that the commitment that exists to bring Pastor Abedini home and Mr. Hekmati home and to bring home my constituent is real. And have things changed? Absolutely they have. And does every one of us here believe that this is an issue that should be raised at every single meeting? Yes. I've said it, we've all said it, and we all need to ensure that it happens.
But so far we know it hasn't happened.
Well, gentlemen, yield. The reason why
I wanted to make sure Mr. Deutsch was here to discuss that, but I don't have an agenda, and there's nothing more than I would like to see my country united on an important issue such as human rights. I've been fighting tirelessly for my husband's release for over a year. I expected my government, before shaking hands with the world's #1 violator of human rights issues and support of terrorism, before shaking hands before negotiating, we've done good faith effort. I expected our government to have Iran show good faith effort, that they want to work with us. This would have been a perfect opportunity for Iran to release the 3 Americans. And I don't have an agenda. I'm not a political person. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, and as an American citizen, and millions of American citizens who are behind me in this, we do not understand what happened. We do not understand, and I'm very much upset by it, and I very much feel abandoned, and I feel my husband has been abandoned. And I do hope he survives that prison, and we can bring him home quickly.